Hello, I'm James Preston and welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks here on Kalkine TV. In this edition, I'll be shining a light on EnergyX, and the best way to do that is to sit down with the founder and CEO of EnergyX, Teague Egan Teague. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me, James.
Well, Teague, great to have you here. First and foremost, what exactly is it that EnergyX does?
EnergyX is a direct lithium extraction company and next generation battery company. So we're focused on the batteries that go into electric vehicles, and more particularly the materials that go into those batteries. So where do we get lithium from? How can we produce lithium more efficiently, more cost effectively, which ultimately creates batteries that go into electric vehicles.
So why did you decide to create the company?
So the biggest bottleneck for electric vehicles are actually the batteries. Until now, we've never needed batteries at this scale. It takes about 10,000 iPhones to make one electric vehicle battery. So if you put that into perspective, it takes about 10 billion iPhones to make 1 million electric vehicles. And that's caused a huge supply-demand gap for these battery materials. Today, there's way higher demand than the supply of global lithium. So we're working on more efficient ways to produce lithium so that we can fulfill that demand.
So what are some of the strategies you have in place to try and tackle that high demand?
So right now, lithium production and manufacturing, there's never been innovation that's gone into that. And that's largely because we've never needed this much lithium before. So the methods of manufacturing are 20, 30, 50-year-old technology. So the main way that lithium is produced in these huge evaporation ponds that are literally the sizes of 100 football fields. We implement cutting-edge technology that's mechanical separation technology to more efficiently produce lithium. Sounds a little bit scientific, but it's much better than the existing process.
No, well, that's why we have you here, so you can explain it and I don't try and stumble over my own words to get it out when I've got not a clue what exactly it is. But speaking of which, you do have some patented technology. Can you take us through that?
Yeah, so everything that we do, we protect with intellectual property and patents. We have about 50 patents surrounding our technology. And the crux of it is that we can recover lithium at 300% times the existing recovery rates. So we use a variety of technologies in chemistry and membrane separation to more efficiently recover lithium that's found in really salty waters. And that's the basis of our patents and intellectual property portfolio.
So with the things that you've created here, with the patents and with all the different technology, are you, I suppose, outsourcing this to certain mining companies, for example, exploration companies? How exactly does the process work?
Exactly. So there's a handful of companies that are already producing lithium today. And those are the customers that we are selling our technology to that can now produce lithium at 300% more efficiency. So if you're producing, say, 1,000 tons of lithium with your existing methods, you plug in our technology into the existing infrastructure that you already have, and now you're producing 3,000 tons of lithium. So it's a pretty attractive value proposition for the customers and for the lithium producers.
Now, obviously, without getting too technical and scientific here, can you roughly take us through how that extraction process works to ensure that you do get that 300% times effectiveness?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you want to Google what the existing process looks like, you type in lithium solar, and it shows you these huge evaporation ponds where the sun naturally evaporates the water, and the lithium is found in a salt form that's what's put into the batteries, and that precipitates out. In this process, it's a natural evaporation process where they lose a tremendous amount of the lithium, between 60 and 70% of the available lithium that you bring out of the ground. By inserting our technology, we avoid all of that loss. It's basically turning this natural evaporative system into a mechanical controlled system where the lithium brine flows through our separation technology. All the lithium passes through, all of the unwanted impurities are rejected, and now you have a clean, pure lithium product that has around 90 to 95% recovery. So that's kind of in layman's terms, how it works.
That's terrific. It's like a lithium sieve of sorts almost. Now, recently as well, EnergyX partnered with Mobi to work towards creating a Bolivian domestic lithium battery supply chain. Can you tell us how exactly that's progressing?
So Bolivia, believe it or not, sits on the world's largest lithium reserve. Down in South America, there's an area known as the Lithium Triangle, and this has about 65, 70% of the global lithium resource. You could say it's kind of like the Middle East is to oil down in South America. And Bolivia sits on the largest reserve out of these three countries, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. So we're working in Bolivia right now to help them with this direct lithium extraction technology. And Mobi is an electric rideshare and micro mobility company that is using batteries in their scooters and e-bikes and things like that. So we partnered with Mobi to build a domestic Bolivian lithium supply chain where the lithium comes from Bolivia. We help put it into next generation batteries that are used in Mobi's vehicles. So it's an exciting partnership from that standpoint.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, we are in an age of the conscious consumer. A lot of people are taking climate change quite seriously. Over here in Australia, the federal election recently was very indicative of exactly the changing perceptions from the public. I know this is something that's quite important to your company as well. You do have the Corporate Social Responsibility Pledge. Can you take us through exactly what that is?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously what we're doing is really focused around the energy transition and making our economy more carbon neutral. That's what we do from a technology standpoint. So already we're a very ESG oriented company in terms of that. But it's also really important to give back to some of the communities that these natural resources lie within. And some of these communities in Bolivia have been taken advantage of in the past, and we wanted to make sure that we were on the forefront of giving back to some of these communities. So what we did was we did two different pledges. One was around healthcare infrastructure for some of the students around these areas to do vision screening. And the second was to build schools in these areas. Hopefully these schools will focus on subjects that are related to this blossoming industry within lithium. So we're building 6 schools in the town that's the closest to these big lithium resources. And we'll look to teach programs about lithium engineering, chemistry, science and technology.
Well, it's a great way to get more people into STEM, that's for sure. And I'm speaking with Teague Egan, the founder and CEO of EnergyX. And of course, you are a company that has now got multiple offices across the globe. Is there more expansion on the cards, and what else is in store for the rest of 2022?
So our scientific R&D headquarters is based in Austin, Texas. But we also, most of our customers are in South America, right? So in the Lithium Triangle countries, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina. So we have a presence down there. We also have a presence in Puerto Rico, where our corporate headquarters are located. I think that in terms of expansion for 2022, we're deploying our pilot plants to several customers down in South America, as well as in the United States. We're growing our team from we're at about 45 people now to 100 people, most of which will be scientists and engineers focused on optimizing and improving our lithium extraction technologies, as well as next generation battery technologies. So 2022 is a big year for growth for us, and really looking forward to it.
Now, if people are looking to find out more about EnergyX, how can they do so? Is there a website, social media?
Yeah, so the website's energyx.com, pretty straightforward. And then we're EnergyX on most social medias, so Instagram, Twitter, I usually answer a lot of stuff personally. Yeah, so we're easy to get a hold of, and we have a very informational website for people that are looking to learn more about what lithium is. I mean, it's kind of this thing like in the background. People get into electric vehicles and don't really realize that, you know, a lot of supply chain has gone into these batteries and what is powering electric vehicles. So we have a really informational site on that, and we try to be a resource around climate change and energy transition.
And Teague, I know lithium is the focus, but nickel and cobalt, for example, are other elements that are used quite frequently in electric vehicles and other batteries. Is there any ideas to sort of get involved in those minerals?
Yeah, so those are two very important minerals that also go into the battery. I would say that lithium is the most important because lithium is a common denominator amongst all battery chemistries. So one specific type of battery chemistry uses nickel, manganese, cobalt. It's called an NMC battery. Also obviously uses lithium, but there is also another largely used battery called LFP, which is lithium iron phosphate. So while nickel and cobalt are very important for this specific battery, there are other batteries that are used in electric vehicles that also use lithium. But we're not necessarily focused on getting into those materials. There's a lot of companies that are. Those are found from more traditional mining sorts, so like big open pits. But lithium is actually found through a different means, these big brine evaporation ponds. So lithium is found in an aqueous, so brine is a fancy word for really salty water. Lithium is a salt that is found in these brines, which is very different than like a big nickel mine or a cobalt mine. So that would be something that is a very different type of mining practice that EnergyX is not going to get into.
No, thanks for clarifying that. And Teague, it's been great to chat. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave with our audience?
Yeah, I mean, you know, the energy transition is super exciting, and anything that people want to know, hopefully we can answer on energyx.com. And yeah, it's a good time to be sustainably conscious right now. So appreciate you having me, James.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, Teague. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
Well, that's Teague Egan, the founder and CEO of EnergyX. And if you missed any part of that chat, you can catch the full interview on our YouTube channel, Kalkine Media. So make sure to subscribe. I'm James, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with Kalkine.